Hello, dear friends. Here we are. 15 cases of past lives. And you have lived many lives, much more than 15. Believe it? Yes, it is true. And here we are with Kardec Radio, and we are streaming here a new case. You know, each and every day is just a surprise. This book by Amália Domingos Soler is really fascinating. Fascinating. And it brings to us realizations about ourselves, who we are, what we do with our lives, okay? All you need to do is to make sure that you pay attention to the signs of what the spirits explain to us, so you can see yourself in the understanding of what they bring. These spirits, and including Amália Domingos Soler, who wrote this book, she's not sharing this case with us out of curiosity. No, there is no curiosity. It's mostly about the laws of life. It's just like when you have case studies by scientists, physicians, scientists in general, they are trying to understand the law of life through the case. The same for us. We are studying through each case the divine laws. The divine laws are stable, they don't change. God doesn't change his mind. No. We're the ones who actually create new understanding. We're actually the ones who have new perspectives as we evolve. But God is immutable, and the laws of God are immutable. We're yet to understand all of it, but that's the reason why we're here with you at every day at 11 p.m. in this 11th hour Spiritist Center, with this beautiful community that is making this experience all the more beautiful, understanding, and we've progressed much faster when we are together. I know I could be reading books right now, etc., on my own, but when we are here together, there is that potentiation of our mental currents, creating a higher frequency. And as such, we can evolve much faster. Okay? So let us say hi to our beautiful community that is entering here. Today we're going to be studying chapter 11 of the book 15 Vidas Passadas by Amália Domingos Soler. The original book was published in Spanish, written in Spanish, because she was Spanish. And she was born in the 19th century. She discarnated at the beginning of the 20th century, 1909. Amália Domingos Soler became a spiritist. If you want to know more about her, go to thespiritistmagazine.com or the app of the Spiritist Magazine, which is free of charge, and read issue 30th. You see like a bluish cover with her beautiful profile, and you're gonna know more about her. Amália Domingos Soler is really ahead of us, much ahead of us. So how about if now, before I will say hi to the ones who are here, but just stay tuned, because today it's about the death of a wife in their honeymoon. The book in Spanish was titled Hechos que Prueban. The total translation to Portuguese is titled Reencarnação e Vida. Both you can get the PDF free of charge in the internet. The latest version in 15 cases was brought in by Luis Rivas, and it's being translated. It's actually just finished translating by Shane Martin and Carlos Diaz, and we are revising it just to release it for publication. This is an amazing book. Today, chapter 11, Case 11. The death of the wife in the honeymoon. Ay, 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 ay. We're not here to talk about bad news. We're here to talk about the beauty of life. Hello, Solange. How are you? I know you're reading the book and you said you were enjoying it. I know the cases are spicy, huh? But they tell much about us. Hello, sis. We've missed you. How are you? Daniel, Castellani, Mônica, how are you guys? Patricia, how are you? Andrea Torres, how are you? Sunshine, how are you, Sunshine? Katia, how is everything? I know. Oh, Leia Severo, beautiful Leia, thank you for being with us and helping us at Kardec Radio. So, how are you, Sol? Adilson, adorable friend. Thank you, Adilson. Marco Carvalho, Renata Santos. I miss you, Renata. I know. We're together in spirit and heart, right? And Danny and Erica. Hello, dear cousins. How are you? It's good to have you here. Rosaline Rosa, how are you? I know, Solange. I bet you're loving the book. Me too. Me 3. Me 4. Hello, Rosângela Maria. And hello, Vânia Abreu. Felipe. I was so happy to see you in the symposium. And it was fantastic, you know. And it's great to be here together. Thanks to this beautiful internet, we can be this close, right, my friend? Yes, Marco and Rudy. Hello, Rudy. How are you? Present. Me too. By the way, the practice of mindfulness is so important. Did you know that many of the mistakes we go through in life, it's because of the lack of mindfulness? For example, you enter somebody's home and people don't say anything, but you don't pay attention that people don't use shoes in their house. And you're like, oh, but you know, mindfulness, enter, reverence. I remember Raul Teixeira and Divaldo Franco, when they used to visit us in our home, they would enter with so much reverence, asking for the blessings of God for that home, for the permission of the good spirits to allow them to go through. And Mentor Joseph actually taught me that also regarding people's homes and our spiritist centers. And we have been teaching this to little Virginia. Before, when we unlock the center, the door of the center, we say, Jesus, can we come in? And she's learning. Yes, because there are beings in both realms. And we're not the owners. And you believe me, even your home, the question is, who is the owner of your home? Spiritually speaking, go to the book Sex and Destiny. You'll be surprised that the incarnates are not the real managers of the house. No wonder we try to live well when we can't. Why is that? That's why we need to study this, right? And be reverent, be respectful, be very diligent, mindful where we are. Life is so precious, right? Felipe, Jailton, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Rosângela. Ready? I know this case is dramatic, but it's real. Look at the things in the news. You see every day is worse than the cases of Amália Domingos Soler, right? Yes. The death of a wife in their honeymoon. Amália Domingos Soler, she's so so creative. She starts the chapter by quoting Victor Hugo when he said, the eyes only see God through the tears, and it's a great truth. When we are in the midst of happiness, our thoughts usually do not rise to God. The soul is content with what lies before it, whether it be an unlimited horizon or a piece of heaven within eyesight. People say that no one remembers Santa Barbara until the thunder appears. Sad but true. We have a very limited idea of what we humans are on earth, and in the face of so many facts, we must bow our heads and give up. And now she's going to tell us about a case she read in the newspapers. But before we enter the case, I know you're like, man, I want to know it. I want to know it. Me too. Hold on. She is contextualizing the case, spiritually speaking, so we understand why she's reporting it to us. Remember, it's not out of curiosity. It's out of lessons to be learned. Like the cases studied by scientists. They published the cases not out of curiosity, but out of gaining new understanding. So hold on. How many of us observe that we often achieve higher realizations when life is really poking us, meaning pushing us with a little bit of pain or a lot of pain? How many? Have you realized it, friends? Yes, Leon Denis in his book After Death, he mentions that pain, suffering is law in our planet. Chapter 5 of the Gospel According to Spiritism by Kardec, he mentions to us, blessed are those who suffer, who are afflicted. I know the words matter, but let's focus afflictions, because that's when we realize things. Shall we observe it? Remember when Jesus said, do unto others what you'd like to receive? He didn't say, don't do to others what you don't like to receive. He said the positive. It's an affirmation. Do to others. But what if we don't? And why don't we? And when are we going to start it? This case tells us all. Don't be surprised, because it's reality. She read a newspaper that came from Italy at her time. The newspaper was titled O Mundo Latino, and it was actually a newspaper in Spain that had a correspondent in Italy and brought news from Italy. That's the story. He said that in a town named Castellammare di Stabia, an Italian city, province of Naples. I'm going to start speaking Italian here for you. Mamma mia. Just to break a little bit the tension. Don't be tense. The newlyweds named Pasquale and Carolina Sarubo, wealthy and young, they got married that week. They got married very young, a lot of money. And after the ceremony, they were in a very sophisticated hotel on the second floor. They entered the room and the floor collapsed, causing the couple to fall into the apartment below them. In the middle of the wreckage, on the floor, a lady slept with her 2 children. They were seriously injured, and Carolina died in the arms of her husband, who was left unharmed. Pause. If you're entering now, welcome, 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 Angelita, Giovanna, Patricia. It's almost like we're listening to Italy. It's a case that happened in Italy. Couple just married, very wealthy and young. After the ceremony of the wedding, they go to their honeymoon. Sophisticated hotel, second floor. When they get in, the floor collapses, they fall. There were 2 children sleeping on the bed with the mother, with a lady. When they fell on top of it, people were injured, but only one person died. Carolina, the wife. The newlywed wife. Why? Amalia was commenting on this. Amalia is a real human being. She doesn't flourish. She says what we would say. What a wedding night. So painful. What have they done? This terrible story had a very moving episode. And she asked her spirit guide, why? Hello, Marcia Pontel. Let's ask together. Why? Is there a true mystery here? If there is, we can call Mickey Mouse and sing hot dog, hot diggity dog. But there is no mystery, because the good spirits, they relate to us the veracity on the behind the scenes, the truth. What is it? I'm just giving you some sense of humor here because these cases are difficult. And the spirit guide says in a psychography, yes, very touching event. But to make this teaching useful, pay close attention to the narrative. I will tell you in a few short lines. Pascual and Carolina, husband and wife who just got married, they were, in a previous existence, father and son. No. What? Father and son. The husband and the wife were father and son. Is that possible? Pascual was the father, Carolina the son, named Carlos. Is that possible? You may be asking, is it possible that we in this life come as a man and in the next a woman? Yes. Because you as a spirit, you don't have sex. No gender. You're not a woman or a man. You're spirit. But you use clothes of man or woman, male, female, to learn something. Pause. If you're in the body of a man in this life, what are the things that pertain to that experience that you think you should be learning? I know there are a million things, but for each one of us, there is a specific feature that we need to pay attention. And if you're a woman in the body of a woman, what do you think you need to learn? May I say something here? Because this is a therapeutic conversation. We are coming at a time on the earth in which psychology and sociology understand that the role of a man and of a woman in many parts of the world, including the United States, they are up in the air. People are fighting so much for equality that people don't know their roles any longer. And the effects of these unknown are creating a lot of stress in the families. Because everything is beautiful when people start dating, they get engaged, they start living together and get married. And then they're like, okay, I can work, you too. I can wash the dishes, you too. It's up to us to be willing to do it, right? And then people feel like, why me? Not you. And then this is just the song the children sing. And nobody does anything. And then it's a mess. The same for raising children. Yes, women gestate. But after gestation, the child is born. You're like, I can work. I don't need to stay home with my child. Equality, men and women. And then the kid is sent to a preschool, to a daycare. Somebody else is going to raise them. When they are just born, first years of life. And it's a mess. So Spiritism rescues that idea and brings us back to the realization that there are reasons why we are born and reborn yet again in different clothes. Today in the body of a man, tomorrow in the body of a woman. Equality of rights? Yes. But equality of roles? No. Equality of biology? No, because we're different biologically speaking. Hormones are different. The anatomy is different. The brain physiology is different in many aspects. So why have you been born in the body of a man or in the body of a woman? Can you fill in the blank? This is your homework and my homework. Shall we do homework? 24 hours to think. What is... Just write one statement. I was born in this life in the body of a man or in the body of a woman to learn to blank. Fill in the blank. It could be a list, but write at least one statement. Okay? Write Jailton. And this is not about sexual orientation, which is something else. We're talking about the importance of realizing that we're in the body of a man or a woman for that reason. For a specific reason. Right, Luciana? Right, Daniela Kosmaski? Yes. Ana Mercia is mentioning that they will celebrate her 50th birthday. Thank you, Ana Mercia. We are going to celebrate with you, hopefully, here. Okay? But think about this. It's very important. And don't be shy of customizing your life for the purpose of understanding more why. It's one of the major realizations in a reincarnation. Why was I born in this blessed body of a female or of a male? What do I need to learn? Okay? All right. Now, what happened here? I can't come in the body of a man this life, the woman next life, and vice versa. Yes, look, Pasquale and Carolina were married, husband and wife. In my previous life, they were father and son, man and man. Carolina was a man in a previous life. And they belonged to the highest nobility in that previous life. They worked in the palace because they were the knights of the king. Right, Patricia? We are here to customize it. And Kara Correa, if I'm barely reading, she's saying, because the message, Kara, just escaped me here. If you want to repeat on Facebook, please, because I can't read everything. And we need to, right, Rita Di Cassia? Thank you, Ana Mercia. We need to understand the reasons why. In previous lives, they were father and son, who were knights of the king, etc. Pasquale was a very proud man. He was a noble man. He had high hopes expectations for his son, Carlos. He had the firm conviction that he would marry a lady who belonged to the reigning monarch class of the nation. Pascual was very important with his nobility, his genealogical tree, his castles, his privileges. Very proud of himself. Right. Patricia, you're right. Understanding is the key. Customizing is the key. Exactly. We really need to go deeper. His son Carlos was different from his father Pascual. He was simple, humble, carefree boy. He hated partying in the palace. He liked being among the servants, particularly around a young girl who had grown up besides him, the daughter of a forest ranger. And since their childhood, they were climbing trees to watch bird nests and eat green fruit, so romantic. Carlos and the girl took long walks through the forest, always together. And Pascual was so busy, so proud, he never noticed that the two teenagers were so connected. And one day, Carlos turned 20 years old. And the father called him and told him very happily, "Son, God heard my prayers. You'll be part of the royal family. A king's niece has taken interest upon you. And as soon as the monarch gives his consent, you'll marry Elena." And Carlos was like, "Father, you know my character and my taste. I prefer life in the country. When I'm in the palace, I feel short of breath. Besides, I don't even know Elena. When I get married, I want to love my wife. And Elena, I know I'll never love her. She's very proud and imperative, and I do not want to be a toy in the hands of a woman. If she was born on the steps of the throne, just even if she was born on the steps of a throne." The father was shocked, and he realized that the son loved another woman. Carlos didn't say anything, but you know what he did? He hired spies to follow his son. And a few days later, Pascual discovered it all. Carlos loved Anita, the forest ranger's daughter, a humble and simple girl who had been raised with him since she was little. And then Pascual learned about it. He came to the son, Carlos, and said, "I know about everything, but if you persist with it, I will lock Anita in a nunnery and leave her there incarcerated until you regain your reason. In the meantime, I will send you far away. And if you agree with my proposal, I'll give Anita a good dowry, and she'll marry a man of her class. Think about it. It all depends on you." Because Carlos really loved Anita, he didn't want to hurt her. So he said to the father, "Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Give Anita the dowry. I'll do as you wish." And the father kept his promise, giving Anita valuable dowry. But Carlos, remember, he was already fragile in his health. He felt his heart so deeply hurt. And while the father was preparing for the marriage, he didn't want to get married, and he actually died a few days before the marriage. A few days before the marriage. Okay? So he asked to see Anita in his last moments. And Anita, after Carlos' death, she joined the convent, but she died right before taking her vows. How did the father feel about it all? Do you think he felt guilty? No. Pascual arranged for his son a very luxurious funeral. Between dead or married to Anita, the humble daughter of the people, he preferred the death of the son. I know it's sad, but there are people who are like this. They're so proud, they're so egotistic, they're so absorbed in the societal rules that they create these walls and they don't feel what people are feeling. They don't see it. They don't see it. Pascual did not mourn the loss of his son. Did not. Believe it or not. And, Pascual says the spirit was not a bad person, but only like vain and proud, which is a mistake. It was necessary to awaken him a feeling, and for this purpose there is no alarm more powerful than the pain we feel for the loss of our dearest ones. Pascual, when he swung in his arms his wife's body, he felt what he never did in his previous existences. So stop for a second. In this life, he's married to this woman. She dies in the honeymoon. And he's crushed. That was the first time he felt the pain, the loss of a loved one. In a previous life, his son died. He didn't feel anything. He needed to go through the experience of losing the company of the same spirit. Before was the son and now the wife. To start feeling. Pause. When Jesus was asked by the doctor of the law, Nicodemus, he said, Master, I know you're the Messiah. I've been studying the law my whole life, and yet I don't know how to get to the kingdom of God. It's in the book Good News. Jesus kindly said, Nicodemus, it's not enough to know the scriptures. You forgot to feel them. How many of us have been living lives and lives without feeling anything? And to date, many people use the shield of reasoning not to know. But true reasoning contains feelings, said Dr. Antonio Damasio, who is one of the leaders in the field of the neuroscience of emotions. For our cognition to really be boosted, we need to feel. No wonder there are many people who have high IQs, but they don't move forward. They need a higher EQ, emotional intelligence. More important than the intellect is to know what we're feeling. Are you feeling? Do you feel the people in your life? When you go to a spiritist event, what are you feeling? We're not parrots. Speakers who are parrots, like tick 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 tick. Oh, I know so much. I know so much. No. But do you feel so much too? Do you feel the audience? Do you feel the people who come? Do you feel your loved ones as well? People commit suicide because of their emotions. People get confused in life because of their emotions. Bottom line, It's about what we vibrate. Emotions equal to vibrations. Our real thoughts contain emotions, according to André Luiz, Emmanuel, etc. And actually, as Emmanuel said in the book Thought and Life, we have emotions, and emotions trigger ideas, and ideas, behaviors, attitude, blah, blah, blah. Empathy, right, Marco? And Imercia is mentioning, if your intention is to improve your life, follow Jesus' behavior and feelings. Exactly. Hello, dear Shane. So we really need to feel it, right? Okay, can we? Pam, pa-da-dum, pam, pam, pam. Back to the story right now. And the spirit guide says, the man who was happy with his son's death, instead of seeing him with a common woman, now wept the tears of blood at the loss of his beloved wife. He heard the alarm just in time, heard the voice of the infinite that called him to the reasoning. And from then on, he would not prefer any more titles to the moral virtues. With this sad episode, the feeling of a soul that slept among its earthly riches was awakened. The children who were injured in the collapse are the spies who betrayed the love between Carlos and Anita. Pause, another thing we didn't know. Remember, the husband and wife go to the second floor of the hotel. They fall because the floor collapses, and they fall right on top of two children with a lady who are laying down on a bed. They get injured. Who are these two children? In a previous life, the spies who were spying on Carlos and Anita, hired by the father. But you can claim, but Vanessa, come on. It's just a job. No. I remember the spirit side of Virginia. One day, many years ago, somebody came and said, oh, I need some clarification. I am working with a company that makes guns. And I just realized that though a good salary and benefits, it's not good for me. I think I should quit, right? And the mentor Joseph replied through us, you already got the answer. You realize it. Who can be happy working for a company that makes guns? But I'm not making the gun. Well, but you're sustained by the selling of the guns. And you think you're going to be happy? No. The spies needed to make a living, but they made a living based on a not so noble function, a role. So we need today to revisit what kind of jobs we have, because sometimes we look at politicians in Brazil, in the US and other places, and we are amazed or astonished or shocked about their strange trades. But look at ourselves. What kind of work do you have? Where do you work? Is your company a company that does really good to society? Because if you work for Coca-Cola, you're poisoning the world. Coca-Cola doesn't do any good. I'm sorry, Coca-Cola. You cannot be our sponsor. Right? Seriously, that's exactly what it is. The two children, they had a job that was not very good. And all receive what they deserve. Say the spirit guide of Amalia. Since there is no debt that is not paid, nor term that is not fulfilled. You see why many people say, but I pray, and I don't get anywhere because of this. Because we want happiness, but we're creating happiness out of people's unhappiness. If I work for a company that is harming people's lives, how can I have a good life? Spiritually, emotionally, impossible. Because I belong to the machine that is destroying people's lives. Action, reaction. That's why you need to stimulate your children to do what they like, which hopefully is helping others. They will never go wrong. When you work for a school, when you work for healthcare, when you work for business that are really promoting like technology, but things that are poisoning the world, it can't be right. The awakening of a soul is great happiness. For from a sensible being all good deeds can be expected, while the spirit, vain of his riches, one cannot obtain more than the fog of selfishness and its grumpiness. May the alarms of the centuries be sound, even if the souls weep when I waken, because the person who does not cry does not see God. It's as if we're cleansing ourselves when we're crying, right? That's right, Karina. Yes. But we know it's law of life. People may call you crazy, but this is the law of life. We must weep a lot to see the rainbow that form from our hearts, and in this rainbow is the place where God is. Blessed are the afflicted, for they shall be comforted. Amalia Domingo Soler guide, and she finishes by saying the spirit guide is right. Pain is the great bell of humanity. The sleeping beings are dried trees. For fruits to grow fruits, it's necessary to water them with the tears of pain. But you know, with Spiritism, we don't need to suffer. We will, if we don't learn the lesson. It's like cracking the egg to open and get the best part of it. Right? Thank you, Andrea, for sharing your story. Like in sales, right? If you don't believe the product, if you think this product is not good, why you're going to sell it? But Vanessa, I need to make a living. It's not going to work, my friend. Because you know there's something wrong. And don't butt me, because this is not my law. It's God's law. We're just saying enough is enough. We know enough. It's time for us to really be coherent. Mentor Joseph, many years ago, the Spirit Side of Baltimore, he wrote in a mediumistic meeting, all we need is coherence. Coherence in our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. We need to walk the talk. Do what you'd like to receive. This couple, they learned. I know this is just a little piece of their history. You may have several questions. But what are we keeping here? Besides many lessons. That when something is pushing afflictions onto us, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I want this problem to go away. If you want the problem to go away, ask, what do I have to learn so I graduate? And then another thing is going to challenge us. But that is going to be over because we got the message. What do I need to learn? Right? What do I need to learn? That love is in the air that I breathe, that sustains my life, Of course, we're enveloped by the beautiful ether of God's love. Love is in the air. Everywhere I look around, feel the joy of being loved by God. Let us close our eyes and visualize ourselves and the blessed body that was given to us in this life. Breathe in through the lungs of your physical body. Breathe out slowly. Appreciate the lessons of being the body of a woman or a man. Tell yourself, I accept the experience in this blessed body. May I learn the lessons that it offers to me. I appreciate the lessons provided through this body. May I learn the lessons that it can offer me. I respect my body. I respect my life. I respect other people's bodies and lives. I respect the sacredness of life. Breathe in reverence to the temple of the body. Breathe out slowly. Feel the joy of living. Breathe in and out and open your eyes. Feeling the good. Seeking the good. Seek the good. Why we are connected to this blessed body. Thank you, dear body, for this beautiful opportunity. May I learn with you the sacredness of life and of living. And beautiful friends, beautiful hug, and may these 24 hours be the experience for us to cherish the gift of life here on earth. Many blessings, and until tomorrow, right?